Yeah, baby. Kick it. What do we have here? Yeah, man. What? What did you say? Huh? Oh, yeah. What are we looking at?
It was our first time in Kyoto.
Oh yeah, it was a whole new thing for us.
And now a commercial.
We stayed
Wow. Hatara from Iceland. Little Iceland music 4 years ago. Is this, shit happens underground before it breaks big. Is this what we're going to have? Iceland has been very, very forward in breaking new music, but here we go. I like them. I like them. I like them. I like the clothes. I like the attire. The music is kind of reminiscent of, I don't know, 90s synth pop. But look at the costumes, man. Look at the costumes they're wearing. Look at it. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the program. Welcome everybody. How you doing? How you doing? So where are we? I forgot where we are. Oh, there we are. So how you doing, man? So it turns out that we might have been a little ahead on the prediction that mindfulness, at least some of us, mindfulness breathing is a not Buddhism, but mindful breathing. That's the American term for it. Mindful breathing. Breathe mindfully. Be mindful of your breath. Has been shown to, for thousands of years, shown to alleviate 99.99% of most human suffering. Unfortunately, the medical profession doesn't agree, and they throw drugs at the problem and make the problem worse. But in New York City, I always said I liked Mayor Eric Adams. He was a cop. He was a captain, police captain for a long time. And when he came in as the mayor, people were like, well, he's a cop. But there was something very calming and very interesting about Eric Adams. And I still like him. I think he's a good guy. And now he has instituted required, now this is good. He has required elementary schools, public schools, maybe even high schools. Hold on a second. There's some kind of noise. I'm hearing noises. He has required the New York City public schools to have between 2 to 5 minutes of mindful breathing every day. Now it's up to the school to decide where it goes, but imagine that, and with all the noise and all the hysteria and every kid in the room playing with their, talking to each other through text and fighting and arguing and flirting with the chick next to them or the dude next to them, right? 5 minutes of quiet, of mindful breathing, follow your breath, right? And I think it's fantastic. I think it's amazing. I think 5 minutes is an eye opener for many. I don't think it's all inclusive. I don't think it's the end all 5 minutes, but I certainly think that, and I would highly doubt that teachers that are required to do this required to offer this are really trained and or even know what the hell they're doing. It's just 5 minutes to shut the fuck up for a while for them. But anyway, it's really good. So we'll talk about that. Also, Jeffrey Epstein news. Jeffrey Epstein. If you thought Jeffrey Epstein was murdered, was Jeffrey Epstein murdered in jail, or did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? Well, the jury is still out on that. A lot of holes in the official narrative that came out of the prison system. They said that the guards were complacent and they weren't paying attention, and they let Jeffrey Epstein kill himself. On the other hand, there's also a report that one of the roommates was removed from Epstein's cell because Jeffrey Epstein said the guy tried to kill him and then changed his story. All right, so the jury is, the official jury is now in. A 120-page document from the Department of Jails has confirmed, at least in their mind, that Jeffrey Epstein, in fact, killed himself. And the reason was negligence on the part of the MCC, Metropolitan Correctional Center over there in New York, the prison. It was their fault because they weren't paying attention. And he was on suicide watch, and they let him kill himself. So that's the official narrative now. The document is out. And I don't know, is that closure, or do many, many people still think Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in jail? I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, we'll look at the details anyway. And so welcome, everybody. Welcome to the program. My name is Marcus Conte. Here's my thumbnail. That's Eric Adams meditating with the children, a cartoonish cartooniture of Eric Adams, and you got to love it, man. You got to love it. You turn kids on to mindful breathing, and they're going to run away with the ball, man. They're not going to need you anymore. That's what happens, by the way. So that's a fear that people have of teaching mindfulness to people. You know, leaders, countries. China, for example, felt in danger of letting the Tibetan people continue their practice, and they shut it down, right? Because once mindful, you're pretty much above the fray, if you will. So this shit works, right? So there's my thumbnail. You got to try it. Right? So I meditate every day. For the record, I have been for a long time. I've been unbroken chain of meditation now, I think for about a year. Every single morning, it's the first thing I do. And it's not 5 minutes. So it works. If mindfulness can save this monster of a mind, my mind, my unrest that I've experienced, prior to now. And I think we all do. It's just hard to admit it. It's an internal kind of turbulence, right? And if you can calm that down, and it's an amazing thing, and it's life-changing, and I think it's permanent. I believe it's permanent. Once you see it, there's no going back. You know it's there, and you continue to return to it. So anyway, Zoot Suit reporting there's some kind of blocks, people filtering you out in the chat. Just know that I don't do that at all. Only if you're a dick. If you're openly a dick while I'm on the air, then you might get chopped out. But who knows? The bots are watching. Hello, bots. Hello, Google bots. Hello, YouTube bots. We're here and we're talking about mindfulness and Jeffrey Epstein possibly being murdered. So leave the nice people in the chat alone. Attack me. So anyway, I have a website, Marcus in the Morning, educational, philosophical live stream every morning at 9 a.m. It's education to improve your depth of knowledge about things. Education, right? You don't have to always agree, but you can be educated in things you don't agree with, right? It's always education, right? And philosophical, because all of life is philosophy. There's no, Socrates and Plato, they didn't have the word journalism or investigations or any of that shit. They were philosophical. They were trying to understand the nature of reality. And more so than YouTube, Eric Adams in New York gets it, promoting mindfulness to kids. So every morning at 9 a.m., if you want to watch this program, if you want to donate to the program, even better, give via Zelle. shorthappylife@gmail.com is my email, or the tip jar or Patreon ways to do it. So let's start off with Jeffrey Epstein's suicide blamed on jail guard negligence, DOJ report finds. I got the report, but let's listen to the CBS spin.
A new Justice Department watchdog report reveals a combination of negligence and misconduct enabled Jeffrey Epstein to take his own life.
Epstein was found dead in his New York prison cell in 2019, just over a month after federal authorities took him into custody. The report found New York's Metropolitan Correctional Center had severe staffing shortages, failures at managing inmates at risk for suicide, and issues with maintaining working security cameras. It also cited the prison's failure to assign Epstein a cellmate after a previous suicide attempt. The late financier was facing multiple charges, including sex trafficking and conspiracy.
So there you have it. Confirmed, at least according to CBS, Lionel doesn't agree.
Working neurons and a functioning synapse. No one who has a rudimentary understanding and connection with reality, or medical science, or forensic pathology, or the rudiments and Abecedarian aspects of obvious murder. No one believes that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in the way that was delimited by the officials. No one.
All right.
If you say so, if you say, yes, I believe so, you know nothing of the evidence. You know nothing about the forensic pathology aspects of the...
So Lionel Nation is on the side that Jeffrey Epstein, that you'd have to have your head completely inserted up your own ass to believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. In fact, that's what he's saying. So what else we got? So here's the report. Again, I don't have any big summation. Jeffrey Epstein was given extra linens in a Manhattan jail cell. Authorities negligently failed to assign him a cellmate to take other precautions leading up to his death in 2019, according to a newly unveiled federal investigation. And here's the investigation executive summary, 128 pages. Damn, I ain't reading this shit. But there is a summation. There is a summation somewhere. Conclusion: this is not the first time OIG has found significant job performance and management failures on the part of BOP. All right, so, in a nutshell, all right, the prison system is blaming itself. Right, and there's no consequence to that. What's going to happen to the prison guard? They're going to get fucking docked 2 days' pay? It's nothing. All right, oh, you get suspended for 2 days because a guy killed himself on your watch. He lost 2 days' pay. There's there's nothing criminal, or they're assigned people to take care of, and if they fuck it up and the person kills himself, oh well. It's like a cook, he's cooking, he's got 12 pancakes and he's flipping 12 pancakes and 2 of them fall on the floor. He doesn't get fired. They fucking sweep up the floor and they can continue. Then he gets a scolding. Hey man, be careful with your flip. So great way to cover it up. Hey, listen, nobody murdered Jeffrey Epstein. Can you imagine if Jeffrey Epstein was murdered? Who was the murderer, right? And who set the murderer up for the murder? I bet that if you look at all of not the prison guards, but all of the animals that were locked up at the time, namely that big motherfucker, that guy that killed 4 drug dealers, the drug dealer who killed 4 other drug dealers. The guy was like 6'6" and all muscle, right? The guy that Jeffrey Epstein claimed tried to kill him. Where's that guy right now? I bet he's dead. I bet that guy is gone. Because if you had to pick a murderer, pick him. He's already in jail for 4 murders. What's another one? Nothing's going to change in his life. He killed 4 people in cold blood. He's convicted. Convicted of 4 murders. What's the big deal if he kills another person and gets caught? It's no big deal. But if he gets a deal, he's a killer. He's a murderer. He doesn't fucking bother him. He kills Epstein and he gets a sweet deal somewhere. Maybe he got minimum security for 5 years and then he goes home. Who knows what deal he covered? But he kills Epstein and then he goes to another facility and they kill him. Right? Double blind, so there's no witnesses. The guy thinks he's getting out. He kills Epstein. He thinks he's doing right, and then what happens? He gets killed himself. There's a million scenarios that could have happened, but the official narrative, whether you like it or not, is that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself out of negligence. Negligence. Thank you, Department of Corrections, for setting the record straight. So, big news, and little market, we open, bing, bang, boom, up, going down. Looks like we're fading a little bit. The rally from yesterday, big rally yesterday, starting to dwindle a little bit, coming off the top a little bit. We'll check it out in 10 minutes to see if the rally from yesterday holds up. Where are we? Oh, there we are. So, reading, writing, and breathing. Mayor Eric Adams to require New York City public schools offer students 2 to 5 minutes of mindful breathing. Oh my God, I never thought I'd live to see the day. This is right up there with decriminalization of marijuana. It's the same. It's right. So mindful breathing. Let's listen. All public schools will soon be required to offer 2 to 5 minutes of mindful breathing exercises to students every day. Mayor Adams announced with a Zen-like calm on Tuesday. He said, "There's a science to breathing." I told you got to love this guy. You got to love. I knew there was something about Eric Adams I loved, and this is what it is. The guy is fucking real. He's real. Right? There's a science to breathing. Adams, he's awake. That's a better phrase. He's real. Of course, we're all real, but he's wide awake. That's how he won, because of his incredible calm that everybody seems to notice. When they talk about Eric Adams, they say, yeah, he's this, that, and the other thing, but man, is he steady. He's got that steady, unfazed something about him. And now we know what it is. There's a science to breathing, Adams told students at PS5 in Brooklyn. Breathing, he said, calms your nervous system. It helps to center us and helps us regain our sense of balance and focus. It is a valuable, low-cost tool that is proven to improve mental health and well-being. Oh, my God. Now, this is not just anybody saying it. This is the mayor of New York City saying it and implementing what he said, putting his money where his mouth is, and requiring New York City schools, all public schools, to offer it to the students. Schools citywide will be required to deliver 2 to 5 minutes of breathing instruction to kids grades K-12. Grades I guess kindergarten to 12. So that's everybody. K to 12, what does that mean? Grades kindergarten to 12th grade. That's a lot of kids. That's like 0 to 17 years old, right? That's all fucking kids. They should do it in the community colleges too. 5 minutes, fuck you. Sit. Building off the city's Department of Education's yoga and mindfulness teacher preparation program. I didn't know New York City had one of those. A City Hall spokesman said the instruction will be built into the existing yoga program with no new direct costs to the school. Nice. The mayor said the proposal, the school experience of the future, he calls it. He says it's the school experience of the future. Now that's very insightful, right? Because kids can come to school and be calm and relaxed and not trying to kill each other. And then when they go home, they realize that the family is all fucked up. Family, mother, father, sister, brother, all fucking strung out, killing each other, beating the shit out of each other, or forcing us to do things we don't want to do. Maybe we got grandpa running around trying to grab our ass or something. Whatever the fuck is going on in the family, right? Not all families are squeaky clean, you know. There's a lot of craziness that happens in families. And it is a school experience of the future because a kid could come to school and escape that, right? Or get relief, better word, get relief from that, to see that it's not me personally. There's nothing wrong with me. And it's just, there's something wrong with my thinking. And then what happens? They're more relaxed. They're less violent. They're less likely to, they're more focused, right? They're more real. They may also leave school because they realize it's all ridiculous, but that's besides the point. You're waking kids up by doing this. So it is a school experience of the future. Bravo. Well put. Adams, a big promoter of meditation and yoga himself, said the practice even helped him stand out in the 2021 mayoral field, caused his opponents to fear his cool. Ooh, they feared his cool. He said, I remember when I was debating to become mayor. We were walking to the studio and all the candidates would be moving around out of nervousness. And I would sit down in the studio before we went on to debate and do my breathing exercise. And one of the candidates looked over at me and said, quote, we're never going to beat this guy. So City Hall aide did not respond. What else? That is what we are giving to these kids, young people. You'll never be defeated. You have a tool right now that we're giving you that is going to empower you. Now, here's the problem. What's being said right now sounds like a lot of happy horse shit. And yeah, get kids to shut up for 3 minutes, but what about all the absentees and the violence and the drugs in the school? This is how you solve the problem. You quiet down the individual. And then suddenly those problems, at least for 3 to 5 minutes, are not there. Have you noticed when kids are sitting quietly and meditating that there's no violence? There's no violence. There's no, lashing out. There's no talking. They're just quiet. There's no fidgeting. There's no fucking around with their electronics. All right, for 5 minutes. So if you can create that for 5 minutes in the mind of a young person, the young person can then create it in their own life forever. Right? Quiet mind. Right? He predicts the practice will turn the disruptive Erics of today into model students, referring to his own childhood as a self-described hooligan. We're going to see a change over time, says Mayor Adams. This is Mayor Adams, by the way, on the right. Instead of having violence, we will have balance. Oh, man, he brought a tear to my eye when he said that. Because anybody in the people are talking about the fucking smoke coming down from Canada in the chat. I know, I heard about it. I don't see it yet. It's raining right now here in Northeast Pennsylvania. But I know this is a little wishful thinking. The people that practice meditation and experience the relief from it, the clarity of mind from it, totally understand what he's talking about. Instead of having violence in your mind, you have balance. Right? When thoughts are clashing, when you're in constant odds with yourself in your head, that's violence against yourself. You may not perceive it that way right now, but as you calm it down, you realize that the violence I create in the violence that's in my mind is the violence that I project out into the world. And if I quiet that violence in my mind, there is no violence outside, and I move towards balance. So Eric Adams definitely knows what he's talking about. And I kind of know what I'm talking about with this market that's going to open down in 1 minute. I got to watch this open. I got to watch this thing open. So in 1 minute, the market is going to open. It was up a whopping 5% yesterday. And we're looking to pull back a little bit right now, 1.5% down. It still looks like it. See it, and there it's open, right? It just opened. I'm looking at the NASDAQ Super. You see how it opened down here, TQQQ. And we'll see. It's going down. It failed to break through this line of resistance to continue to reverse into an upward pattern. Right now we're down on the short-term charts. Let's just look at the market and we'll continue with Eric Adams. Yeah, so Apple down 21 cents, 18 cents, not a big deal. Amazon up 46. Google down $1 today. Meta down $1.50. Microsoft up 84 cents. NVIDIA, that's the big news right there. NVIDIA was up yesterday. Now it's down 9, down 10 at 408. That's kind of a bellwether in the technology sector right now, NVIDIA, because it's up so big on the AI experiment. AI is going to change everything. That's the new bubble, AI. Oh, they're ahead on AI. Is it true? Is the money there? Well, NVIDIA claims that the money is there. So anyway, there is some. That's the good part of what Eric Adams is doing. Eric Adams, there he is. Practices what he preaches. Shows up at the morning yoga class. He shows up at morning yoga. And here's the downside of it. Here's the critics. Yoga czar for New York City schools touts meditation, pricey Berkshire's retreat. So they hired this guy. He's you gotta love him, the meditation czar, right? He makes $200,000 a year in New York City. Director of mindfulness. Wow, I wish I had that job. Hire me. Director of Mindfulness makes nearly $200,000 a year while organizing retreats for educators in the Berkshires. All right, so what, man? You got to train people. Nobody wants to go to a fucking Vipassana Indian sitting on the floor for 10 days. People can't handle that. You got to give them a little bit, right? A little bit at a time, and you got to train them, right? You got to train them. You got to get them to sit on the cushion. You got to get them to sit for 20 minutes at a time. And do walking and then 20 more minutes and then more walking and 20 more minutes until they shut the fuck up and break. Until you start to relax. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do. So I have no problem with that. I have no problem hiring a mindfulness fucking czar, director of mindfulness in New York. No problem there. Mayor Adams should put the 3 R's ahead of yoga. Reading, writing, and whatever the other R is. Mindful breathing might be a fine thing for city school kids to learn if they happen to actually make it to school. It sure would be nice if Adams focused less on educational bells and whistles, the New York Post is calling it, and more on, at least this writer at the editorial board, taking a shot at Mayor Adams, saying, fuck you about mindfulness. Put it on reading, writing, and arithmetic. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. You remember the 3 R's? Arithmetic. That's ebonics. Arithmetic. There's an A in there. That starts with getting them to school. So the criticism is that there's massive chronic absenteeism in New York City schools. And Mayor Eric Adams suggests that we should be mindful, teach mindfulness in school. And maybe that will go away. And the Post is saying, no, you got to deal with the absenteeism. You got to punish those kids and their fucking families that let them sit home and play video games instead of being in school. No, you got to train the kid, man. Adams has got it right. Eric Adams has got it right. So I don't really see any. I don't see any. Well, we got to bump off the bottom. Are we going up again? There we go. What's going on here in the markets? I'm sorry. I'm just a market player, and so we're ripping off the bottom. Let's see if it's going to rebound and kibosh the downside. So anyway, thank you for joining me, Mark Sconti reporting, and we're out. Listen. Mindfulness is real. This is it's not a theory. This notion of mindfulness and meditation and it's a religion. You're trying to convert me to Buddhism. This is all ridiculousness, right? Breathing mindfully. When you breathe and you notice you're breathing, you're noticing not just breathing, but you're noticing a string of thinking. You're noticing fatigue in the body. You're noticing sounds, taste, touch. You're noticing that you have a body and that you're alive, right? And who knows? Is the breathing coming first before the thought? Or is the thought first? And you focus on the breathing and you relax. You notice it. That's all you're doing. You're just noticing it. And a calmness occurs, a realization occurs all the time. Right? So it's not a theory. It's very real. And as you move on, you can slow down your heart rate. You heal yourself. You have cancers or other crap going on in the body. You heal. Right? That's what it's about. It's about healing the mind, healing the body, quieting the mind, healing the body. Mark Sconti reporting.